Jeez. I swear. Let's see. See if the chat says, "Are you alive?" I think I am. Hopefully the chat is still active. If somebody can tell me they are back with the new stream, the new and improved stream, let me know. Oh man, it's my fault. I'm a doofus. I'm gonna sit here and drink until somebody lets me know that they're back at the new stream. Okay. Hang on. It's not. All right. You guys are working, but not. Hang on. Let me take a drink and I'll fix it. You guys are there, but you're not appearing on the screen. So that means I need to take this. This all boils down to my internet. Crappy internet. Okay, this needs to be that. We'll refresh that. Now it should start working. It's not the platform. It's me. Hi. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. As I was talking about before the show ended abruptly, I think that there is a lot of room for some other fun ideas to incorporate AI. I don't know that AI is ever. I don't know how to word this in a great way. I don't think AI is ever going to replace people, or that it should replace people, replace actual creative intention. All right, I'm still. I need another chat test, maybe. Maybe. Why is that not working? Oh my goodness. Okay. I think the show title is like copy of. All right, somebody give me a chat test when you get a chance. I can't read those last couple of messages. They're too little. They're like really tiny on the I have a little tiny screen that shows me like what you guys are seeing. So it's too tiny for me to read. Okay. There we go. The chat is working. I think it was Julia that had the last comment. What did you say? Just like your last message. Just type it again so that I can read it. I think that there is a really fun opportunity for people to use AI as an addition to what they're already doing, and I think that's fun. There we go. Julia says, I think AI can be used to enhance things, but should not be used to replace things. I agree with that 100%. I use AI every single day in little ways to make things easier for me, to make things faster for me, to, I guess that's it, to make things faster. That's the best way that I can describe it. There's nothing that I'm using AI for right now that I couldn't do myself. It just does it faster than I can. And I think that that is a good use of the tool or tools. Personally, I get that there's lots of people that think differently, but I think that's the best way to use it right now. Okay, let's move on because this is a shit show already. Although I fixed I fixed the problem that I was dealing with the whole time that you guys might not have known that I was dealing with the whole time. But I fixed it, and we decided to restart the show. I didn't want to restart the show, but it chose for me. This is okay. This is a different type of story. This is the one that I was talking about that might be a little bit negative and might not be as fun as some of the other stories that I like to talk about. Marco says here again. Welcome back, Marco. Miller Coors. Miller Coors is not a brewery that I typically drink a lot of things from. They made a little bit of news, grumpy news from craft beer fans this year already when they shut down Leinenkugel's, the original brewery, and then may or may not have just kind of snubbed the Leinenkugel family who wanted to buy it back, and they may or may not have just kind of ignored them. We don't really know what happened there because it was behind closed doors, and there's some NDA stuff that we couldn't really get to the bottom of. But they are now, or have been, or are starting to tweak the production process to a couple favorite beers. For me, namely Miller High Life in bottles. We are going to, on paper, it sounds great. We're going to see longer shelf life. They are going to make the beer last longer somehow. I don't know what this tweak that they've done is, but they've done something that has increased their shelf life to. Oh, I guess I probably should have pulled up the actual article. Okay. Okay. The quote says they have started packaging beers with the longer shelf life under diligent process controls that were years in the making. All of these are in quotes, in order to give distributors more flexibility in how they manage their inventory and rotate beer at retail. Okay. Oh, that sounds fine. They are cans and bottles of Miller Lite and Miller High Life are slated to stay in code for 26 weeks. 26 weeks. Your beer is now going to last 26 weeks on a shelf, which is up from 18 weeks. That's 33% longer. 26 weeks. This could translate into fewer visits to more accounts to stock bigger orders using less fuel. We're getting some kind of a trend that we're hearing from places that they don't want to go to their accounts very often. So they're finding new ways, including increasing shelf life. I don't know what these process tweaks are, but supposedly they're there. Okay. I'm seeing if there's anything else. Okay. Yeah, this article from VinePair goes into some really fun stuff that they... Okay, yeah, this is good. If you are a... they're using a centrifuge process to prevent oxygen absorption. Maybe. Weren't they doing that already? I don't know. 26 weeks seems like a long time to me. This article points out something that is the first thing that jumped out to me, and that is Schlitz. If you remember back to the 70s, and if you've listened to Bruce Guy's Happy Hour, or if you've read Maureen Ogle's Ambitious Brew book, they talk a lot in both of those about the Schlitz mistake, which is when Schlitz kept trying to optimize their process and trying to make the beer. Marco points out that the centrifuge is not new. No, and they definitely have a centrifuge there, right? I don't know. Schlitz started to optimize different pieces of their process, and each one was not in itself bad. They were using some stabilizers in the beer. Then they started some accelerated fermentation, which, again, was not bad. Actually, let me pull up the numbers on that. That's an interesting road we can go down. Schlitz. Okay, so in my notes, I have two different sources. One says that they, using their accelerated fermentation, this is for a lager, mind you, they went from 12 days, both agree that it was 12 days originally. One says they reduced their fermentation time down to 4 days, from 12 to 4. The other one says it went from 12 to 2. 2-day fermentation, 2-day fermentation, or 4-day for a lager. The whole production process was reduced down to about 2 weeks. So from the day they started making the beer till the day it left the brewery, 2 weeks. This was at a time when Budweiser was taking about 40 days to make their beer. I don't know what Budweiser's time frame is now, but they've always prided themselves on taking a long time to make their beer, which should be something that a lager brewer should pride themselves on. Of course, what the reasoning is in that process. Maybe. So in addition to this accelerated batch fermentation, which a lot of places are doing now, and I don't think it's evil in itself, but when you couple it with other things, I do. The stabilizers that we're putting in, they had one that was already in place called Calcaloid. Somebody can correct me if you know. It's a foam stabilizer that was already in the beer. And then they started using Chill Guard, which helps cut some of the haze back and makes a clear beer. Again, fine. But these two together were reacting, and they created these like chunks in the beer, these like floating chunks that were not tasty, and people didn't like it. They didn't want chunks in their beer, so they had to recall a bunch of beer and kind of try to figure out their process. They cut one of the stabilizers, the foam stabilizer, out, and then the beer all kind of tasted flat to everybody, and then they were mad, and Schlitz went all to hell, and nobody was drinking Schlitz anymore, and it kind of went away. It's still around, owned, I believe, by Miller, ironically enough, but maybe Pabst. Maybe Pabst owns it. That's when I hear stuff like this, that's my fear, is that you are tweaking something that doesn't necessarily need to be tweaked. I understand that to increase bottom line and to increase efficiencies, you have to change something. But if you change the liquid itself, you are now dropping out the bottom of what that beer can be, and that beer can now get bad. And if your beer is bad, people aren't going to drink it. And if I go, the only time I drink High Life is when I'm at a bar that does not have something local, or I'm not really sure what they have, and I need to kind of sit and have a beer and get a lay of the land before I kind of dive into what this bar is. I'll usually get a High Life. It's my comfort beer, my safety beer, I guess. And if I walk in and I start ordering High Lifers, I don't know. What's the plural? High Lives? If I start ordering a High Life beer and it isn't good, I'm going to stop ordering it. I'm not going to drink that beer anymore. And I get that I am not the consumer that is keeping High Life on shelves. That's not me. But there's other people like me out there that maybe do make a blip on that radar. And if you start making bad beer, that blip is going to be something measurable. I'm not saying that their beer is going to start tasting bad. I get it. You can increase shelf life and not ruin beer. I don't know. I don't know. I think back to a couple years ago when they were putting out that beer with pediococcus and weren't telling us that that's what it was, and just kind of quietly recalled it all. Voluntarily recall, like didn't really pull it from shelves because it wasn't dangerous. I don't like it. I don't like when people mess with the consumer. Like just stand behind your product and make a good beer. It's beer. People have been doing it for centuries. It's not rocket science. Just make good beer, and everything else should, in theory, kind of fall into place. If not, I don't know what to tell you. That's way oversimplified, and I understand that. That's not an accurate representation of the industry, especially big beer. It's the AI cocktail talking. Mm. Which, by the way, is still delicious. Marco says, why would you need a 6-month shelf life if your accounts are turning beer in 3 or 4? Yeah. That's a great point. That is a whole other side to this. The world in which macro beer is sitting on the shelf for, what did I say, 26, 28 weeks, something like that, that is sitting for that long anywhere is kind of crazy. What does that mean for how they logistically are going to be shipping beer? How often they're going to be shipping beer? Where they're going to be shipping it to? How does that filter down from brewery to retailers to consumers? How does that all break down? We're entering into a very strange world, and all of it, I think, is probably good for your local craft brewer. I don't really care about macro beer that much. I think that I can still walk down to my local neighborhood brewery, and I can get a beer that was brewed fresh not that long ago, in theory, and I know that there are not great breweries out there. In theory, you should live in a part of town that there is a brewery close by that has great fresh beer served over their own bar that they stand behind, that you don't have to deal with any of this stuff. And I think that that is the world that hopefully we are headed right into. But sometimes I'm going to be in one of those bars. A very strange world that is definitely great for smaller beer. I know that there are definitely lots of brewery owners, small and larger, that are not feeling great about the state of beer right now. But as much as we're all freaked out about tariffs and what that's going to do to prices of either ingredients or other raw materials, I do think that overall, everything that is happening right now is only going to be good for small, independently owned craft breweries in the long term. And if you are not trying to take over the world, and you are making good products, and you are creating a space that is comfortable and fun for as many people as possible, you are on the right track to have a very long, hopefully very successful, and that word success means different things to different people, life as a craft brewer. Shout out to Heidelberg. Yeah. Not just Heidelberg. You know what? I'm not going to name names here. Some of you, I was texting with some of you guys and told you where I was this afternoon at a certain bar. This bar is not in Hamilton County, so not part of this whole Heidelberg shakeup. However, they serve a lot of it's gonna give it away. They serve a lot of imported beer, a certain imported beer that gets very popular this time of year. And they, while I was sitting there having my lunch and getting some work done and drinking some actual local beer, the rep for this imported beer happened to come in. This is all anecdotal, overheard, sitting at the bar. I'm not officially saying any of this is real. The rep was telling this bar that the amount of beer that they typically would order coming up on a weekend, they were not able to get that amount of beer. That number was cut by about a third, I think, of how much they could get. And there's nothing else they could do. That was just how much they could have. And I really wish I could go into like more details about this, but it would be kind of crappy of me to do that. This is a a this is a separate probably problem of why this beer is not easy to get a hold of, but it just like it starts to like remind you of this idea that big beer is never your friend, and like big distributors that carry big beer are definitely never your friend. Sometimes they will make life easier, but then as soon as they don't, they will make your life way harder than it needs to be. And I recognize that in the situation that I'm talking about, and if you guys can kind of put it all together, there's not a lot of other ways you can go with the needs of the consumer for this. But if this event, if you're serving a local beer and every year you get X amount of kegs of this beer, you can probably trust, if it's a local brewery that you have a relationship with, that you know that's how many you're going to get. They know that you do this. They know that you buy this many. They're ready for you to buy this many. They need you to buy this many. They want you to buy this many. That you can trust that, and you can trust them, and they can trust you, and this symbiotic relationship happens. And I get that sometimes those relationships fall apart, but they care about you in a different way than some giant brewery that is thousands of miles away across an ocean can ever care about you, ever. And I hope that we can get to a point where we see more of those relationships, those local relationships that kind of start to form versus these other ones. And I get there are some holidays and some weekends and some things that you can't stop. There's always going to be big beer around. But anytime that I can start to create situations for myself or somebody else around me where we stop doing that, that's what I want. I when we kind of kicked off 2025, one of the shows that we's right. Don't call in. The phone is not hooked up, but I'm going to get that other graphic off the screen. So, I think I can turn it off. There we go. One of the things that early on this year that was a topic of one of the episodes was that resolutions. I don't make resolutions, but if I did, here's what they would be. And one of them is always that I just want to drink more local than I was before. And this is just another one of those instances where that is like solidified in my mind that I just want to drink local beer. And like I want to, if there was like a holiday coming up where most people drink an imported beer that I typically always get a pint of on that holiday, maybe I don't this year. Maybe that's kind of one of my things that I do. I put my foot down and I just drink local for the entire holiday. That's a really strange thought to me, and like a thing that I don't think I've ever done before on this specific holiday, but maybe I do. I don't know. Actually, I don't even know if I'll be able to get out that day. It's on a Monday this year. You guys put it together, right? If not, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. Anybody else have any thoughts? Like this idea of getting away from drinking other beer. Like, am I crazy for the lofty idea that we can almost drink completely local? Like, is that like nuts, or is that something that like we can do? Because I can't get like a good picture of the like typical beer consumer, because I'm not the typical beer consumer. the distro conversation is really, really wild. Yes, Julia, it's Easter. And that beer is a Peeps infused pastry stout. There are definitely like some groups of people that I sit down and I say this idea about drinking almost completely local, or eating almost completely local. And there's like some groups where people are like, oh yeah, I get that, like me too, and no, that's not crazy. And there's other times where I sit down and like, it's a big room of people, and I'm the only one that thinks that way, and I start to think that maybe either I'm nuts, or it's impossible, or that we're headed in a different direction, or I don't know. It's disheartening at times, and when I see stuff like this happening, I don't know. To me, it just like it reinvigorates that thing for me. That's exactly what we should be doing. I don't know. When I hang on, let me kill this. When I'm really feeling like I can't figure out how I want to direct my consumption energy, when I really can't figure it out, there is only one thing that I know that I can always turn to, that is a local company that makes me feel good, that nobody can argue with. Does anybody want to guess what that is? Before I push the button, here we go. It's Dick's Potato Chips. No, it is not a joke. It is only the best potato chips in the world. They're seriously like, they're amazing. I would not allow somebody to advertise, especially on this show, if I did not believe in the product. I believe in this show so deeply that I would not accept anybody except a company that I believe in, like Dick's. I believe in them so much that for Bachfest this year, I'm walking in the parade with Dick's. I'm going to have Dick's all around me. Dick's in my pockets, Dick's on my shoulders, Dick's behind me, Dick's in front of me, Dick's everywhere. That's how much I love this company and the product that they make. It is like a regular snack here in the basement. It is the only non-tubular snack that I regularly keep down here. Nope, that's not true. I keep peanuts. There are always some kind of nut in the basement. Nuts and Dick's are the only non-tubular things that I keep down here. Keep some Slim Jims, some hot dogs, some sausage, maybe some string cheese. That's a rarity. And nuts and Dick's. What else do you need in life? If you've never had Dick's, go to the website. Go to dickspotatochips.com. I'm really not I'm not making this up. They're amazing. Try the hot. They're the best. And stay tuned for more flavors coming soon. Marcus says perfect pair. Yes. 100%. All right. I think that's a show. I don't really have any other topics. I could sit and kind of keep drinking and talking to you guys, but nobody's got time for that. I mean, I do, but we won't put you guys through that. Maybe I'll go live on Patreon. Maybe not. We'll see. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Stay tuned. If you're at Bachfest, find me. I'll be the one with dicks all around me. Find me at Bachfest on Friday. Obviously, parade, wave, yell for me, and I'll wave back, and we'll take a selfie together. And I can't give you dicks, I don't think, but if I can, I will. Julia says, hell of a show. Have a great rest of the week. Yes. Cheers, everybody. The moral of the story for this episode, if we learned anything, all right, what did we learn? We learned corn can make great booze that is not bourbon. We learned that we can trust AI as long as you're ready to carry 342 bottles from the bar into the other room. We can trust AI if you're ready for that. And we learned that Miller is ready to destroy everything we love about beer. And it doesn't matter if you like to drink local. That's what we learned. The more you know. we'll be back next week. I appreciate you guys more than you guys know. If you are a Nomi, stay tuned. I might go live and keep drinking. If you're not a Nomi, go to thegnarlygnome.com/support and support that way, and you can get fun, drunken rambling by me. Who doesn't want that? Cheers, guys. Three guesses. What am I drinking when I go live on Patreon? Guess 1, water. Guess 2, Lysol. Guess 3, elote over ice. It's elote over ice. I couldn't wait.